Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys for another episode of the Arsenal preview show in the show, which we look ahead to the next Arsenal fixture, which of course this one is all about Europa League action as Arsenal face Bodo Glimt in the Europa League group stage's second round. It is technically meant to be the third round this week, but of course Arsenal's game against PSV was initially postponed, so we're now playing this game here. Hopefully it's one in which Arsenal were able to get a second victory in, because the first one against Zurich, whilst was a good win, wasn't massively convincing, which kind of goes against the theme of this season for Arsenal, who have been overall pretty darn convincing in most of their games. Surprisingly, our biggest test, it seems, came up against probably the team we were most expected to beat this season. As always with our preview shows, we're going to be joined by our members from the Discord server. Just before we introduce you to our guest, though, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world today. To everybody joining us in the chat box, MRM, Harvey, Bouty Cool, Rancid, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, Senesi, Vlad, David, Stephen. Hope you're all having a fantastic day so far. Without further ado, let's introduce our guest. First of all, it's Sasha. How you doing, Sasha? You good? You well?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you. It's best feeling ever to be an Arsenal fan right now. Of course, it's the highest we've been and the best we've been since I've been an Arsenal fan. But life's great at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Thinking about it, for a lot of people, this might be the highest Arsenal have been in a league table for some people in their entire lives, could potentially. It's when you think about it like that, it kind of shows you how far we've kind of progressed in this season alone. Also joined by Dan. How you doing, my friend? Made it back bright and early, which is good to see.
Just about. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you doing? You all right?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad at all. And lastly, making up our crew of four this evening and making his debut on the show, joining us all the way down under, it's Mike. How you doing, Mike? You good? You well?
I'm doing great, Tom. Fantastic to be here, mate. And welcome, everybody.
Absolutely. Pleasure to have a debut on the show always. Our late friend Vinny was always trying to encourage people to come on the show. So when we do get debuts on, it's fantastic to see. Let's kick off with kind of the big question around this game, Sasha, which is rotation. Because Arsenal have been playing a heavy amount of games. We've got a month where we've got 9 games in the space of it, and then 4 games in the space of 10 days in November. How much rotation, Sasha, are you actually expecting Arteta to do in this game?
I think we will see rotation, but probably not the level that we all want or hope, because the Premier League game versus Liverpool is obviously much more important than this Europa League game against, no disrespect to them, but obviously a much lesser team. And obviously we feel that our second team should be able to even win this game, especially even since it's at the Emirates. But unfortunately, knowing Arteta and knowing how seriously he takes every competition stuff, I think we will see more familiar faces than we want.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, Dan, because, there's the kind of two sides of the coin. The one is you want to rest players, you want to give them opportunities to be fresh. But there's the other side of the coin, which is players want to play, and actually giving them the opportunity to continue building that momentum can then lead you into better performances, even though it's just a few days later. How do you think Arteta needs to find this balance?
Well, he's got a job on his hands, but it's a nice job to have, rather than him having to stick with the same players because he hasn't got no one to turn to. So at least if he's got options, we can all smile and say, you know what, it's nice to see the boys who are getting a chance. Like I want to see Marquinhos get a start. I want to see Sambi in the middle, see what they can do and start building up their confidence. So when we do have those drop-offs in the Premier League, you've got someone who can come in and is ready. They've got minutes under their belt, and they're not just waiting on the bench for weeks and weeks and weeks to then get thrown under the bus at Spurs, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, absolutely. The amount of buses they were trying to park against this is unbelievable. But no, I mean, I think, Mike, what Dan's saying about kind of the balance you feel as well, and you need to be able to, if there are injuries, rely on the opportunities that are going to go to those players on the bench. We think to the end of last season where we lost Partey and Tomiyasu and Tierney and Tavares, and Cedric came in, and while Cedric did okay for a while, when it was both of the starting fullbacks that are out, we really suffered. So if we are to lose, say, Thomas Partey, which we already have done in part this season, we need to have players like Lokonga ready and raring to go. So therefore, is it important that we give those players an opportunity in these midweek games?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that there's a couple of challenges there. We obviously want to finish top of the group because there's an extra couple of games to play if we don't. And additionally, if we can wrap this up by, say, week 4 or 5, which we're going to need 12 or 13 points for, I'm guessing, then we really need to put out some strength that makes sure that happens. Otherwise, it's extra games for everybody. We can't essentially play a lot of the young lads if we still need points at that last game. So it's a really difficult balance, I think, that Arteta's got to manage in terms of giving people minutes, getting people ready. It would be fantastic to be able to try some combinations. And I know you've talked before about Ben White perhaps in a CDM role. It'd be fantastic to try that out, or maybe a White Saliba partnership as a centre halves. But really, we can't afford to do that in light of the number of games and the fact that we need to win them. So it's a really difficult balance, I think.
It is. David suggesting in the chat box we should rest Partey, Saka, Jesus and Zinchenko in this game. Vlad says my own guess is we'll rotate 9 players. I think Jesus and Xhaka will start. This is assuming Cedric is indeed fit. Well, news broken by my colleague at Football London, Kai Karnak, today suggests that Cedric is indeed fully recovered from his injury and will be recalled for this game. So we'll have to see if indeed that does happen. And Jesus or Nketiah would start wide left instead of Martinelli. Billy Boy says Reece Nelson could get his chance to shine. And Sasha, despite, and this is a bit of a spoiler for our lineups, none of us have selected Reece Nelson for this game. Is that telling that we kind of feel that his time at Arsenal is probably done? And even though he's popping up on the bench here and there, he's not one of those in the rotation that we would rely upon in even these group stage Europa games.
It is quite an interesting one. All I have to say is I think that if he doesn't play in this game, then he himself and all of us will probably know that that's probably it for him at Arsenal. Because if he doesn't start in a game like this, then I don't know what, the League Cup probably, but even that I doubt because Arteta will probably want to win that thing as well. So I can't see him if he's rotating Thursday, and Nelson is not in the starting 11, then it's gonna be it for Nelson unless he's on the bench and he gets like at least 30 minutes. Then if he plays good in the 30 minutes, then maybe it might be different. But I feel like Reece Nelson's time is pretty much over, especially with the big rise of Marquinhos.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, Marquinhos is kind of this. He was an unknown factor, Dan, ahead of the season because he came in for nothing. Well, I say nothing, 3.5 million. We could have got him for nothing, but we wanted to do Sao Paulo a favour from the sounds of things and build a relationship between the clubs, which down the line, you never know, could really benefit us. We've seen players like Anthony and Casemiro come through at Sao Paulo. So they definitely create some talent there. And Marquinhos looks to be one himself. Are you surprised with kind of his performance against Zurich, and do you think there is potential for him to get more minutes than maybe we all expected this season?
I think he's going to be slowly integrated. Like, he's doing well considering what he's had in terms of the minutes. And when he came on, you can see he likes to put himself about a little bit. And I think that's something we all as Arsenal fans appreciate, is someone who likes to get a bit stuck in, even if they are just chasing after the ball. As long as they get there, win the ball, knock it out of the pitch, start something, we're all getting behind it. And he's got something about him, which I like. He, in that friendly game, was it, or the under 21s game, he scored with his head twice. Twice. And it's surprising seeing someone so short, stocky, but short, getting up and reaching those balls. So you can only assume he's going to want to impress. So if he even does half of what Saka does on his debut season, his breakout season, it'll be a good thing for us, because then we'll have someone who can come off the bench and give him a bit of a break here and there, even if it is in the cups and whatever. It means we can use him in the later stages.
Absolutely. And kind of lastly, Mike, I'm not expecting you to be some kind of expert on Bodo Glimt in any way, and I'm sure most Arsenal fans aren't. But I mean, there's an interesting point from Alexander here. Whilst we're playing this game on Thursday at home, the away fixture, and I suppose this will come up more in next week's preview show, is on an artificial pitch, as a lot of pitches are out in that area of the world because it's extremely cold. this is an opportunity to beat a side that have taken points off teams in the past. I remember they famously beat Jose Mourinho's Roma side in the Conference League, I think it was last season, or even in the Europa
6-1.
League. Yeah, it was a mental game, and they are no mugs, as the saying goes. So when it comes to this team, do you think there's an air of actually going strong here needs to happen, as you said a second ago, about making sure we don't fall into that second place qualification spot and have to play an extra qualifying round? We actually do need to go stronger than potentially some people are giving us credit for.
Yeah, I look, they took a point off PSV, didn't they, away, and that is, and PSV are no mugs. So it's not just historically that they've already demonstrated in this competition that they have the ability to hurt the so-called bigger teams, I guess. So absolutely, I think we need to make sure of this one. We need to put them to bed as soon as possible, and that gives us other opportunities, of course, throughout the 90 minutes to perhaps give some players a rest that we may be starting that are those stronger ones, and also maybe bring on Reece Nelson, maybe give some of the younger lads a run out as well. So going strong to me makes a lot of sense.
Sarvik says, since we're going into the Europa, do you think the likes of Nwaneri will get minutes? I don't think so. Just in kind of an honest answer to this quick question, I don't think we're going to see players like that. Basically, the reason why Nwaneri was there was because we were just really bereft of players pretty much. And so the opportunity to throw a youth option onto the bench was there, and Arteta chose Nwaneri in that example. But I don't think you'll see Nwaneri in a senior setup, as quickly as we maybe have. I think it was a bit of an anomaly and an opportunity that was taken rather than something that's a theme that we'll see moving forwards. But he's an exciting talent and scored for the under 18s the other day for Jack Wilshere's under 18. So he's still worth absolutely keeping your eyes on, especially with his contract situation and the fact the likes of Man United, Man City, Chelsea, and I think Liverpool as well are looking at him as a potential option too. Let's go into our lineups. I think, Dan, we start with yours. Talk us through your team, mate.
Well, similar to the last one in terms of Gabriel and Xhaka retain their places to keep that spine almost in check. But based on and Martinelli, sorry, and based on everyone else, it's kind of like the rotation in like for like, giving them minutes. I can see Eddie leading the line. Like, he deserves a start now. He's waited patiently to get his start. I think he deserves a start this week. Jesus can come off the bench like he did in the last Europa League game. And Marquinhos and Vieira, it's their time to sort of stake a claim for their places now and their minutes in the Premier League. With Tomiyasu obviously coming back from his injury, he needs a full 90.
Yeah, absolutely. I
was going to say Baldini. Like he's obviously going to be thrown in there, right, to sort of shore it up, a bit of experience in there. But it kind of speaks for himself. But hopefully Lokonga, if he is going to play that deep role, can start learning it a bit better, because he does suit a bit more of the further forward, like we've all been saying.
Are you tipping Marquinhos for a big game? Because you've got him as your star performer.
I'm hoping so. I want to see something from this boy. Like, Martinelli's obviously going to do his thing, and Eddie, I don't know, since he's bulked up a little bit, he's looking a bit dangerous when he's running with the ball, but he's still a bit crazy when it comes to the shooting. He can ping it off 3 people's heads and it will somehow hit in his knee and go in the goal, But Marquinhos, I do think he's going to be the one. If he does start, it will be his game to say, look, this is who I am, especially in front of the home crowd.
Sasha, you've gone for Nketiah as a star player, and you've also gone for Tomiyasu coming into that central area with Cedric being recalled. Talk us through your selection, mate.
Yeah, so basically I can see Gabriel starting as well as Jesus, because of they didn't play in international. That's why I also put Martinelli in this lineup, because they didn't have the international game. So I can see them starting this game. But I don't want to see any of our regular back 4 players starting in this game, especially since we have 4 players who's dying for minutes, especially Tomiyasu and Cedric and Holding, who's barely played this season. I think they should be given a chance, and they're definitely good enough to play in this fixture. Tomiyasu, I've heard few stories about him training at left centre back. This could be an opportunity for him to start in that position, especially if, let's say, something happens to Gabriel in the future. Then we can keep Ben White at right back and we can play Tomiyasu in this left centre back position. And then, of course, from the regular team, I've also Xhaka starting because the guy starts every game and he he doesn't get fatigue like 99 stamina guy. I know he doesn't like run a lot, but yeah, like if there's one person like who I wanted gone for the last 4 years, it's Granit Xhaka. And now I've only gone and done this. Got myself a Granit
Xhaka on the
Xhaka
back
on
of
the
the
back of
shirt.
my shirt. Yeah, it's just incredible. I made a joke this weekend after him scoring the goal. I said, "Yeah, that's the goal that secures him the Ballon d'Or." But I wasn't joking. No, I was just kidding. Yeah. So Nketiah is going to be my star player for this game. I think he's hungry. I think he's gonna try and force a place in the team. Of course, it's a bit difficult with Jesus, but I think he's gonna play and I think he's gonna score a few goals.
Lovely stuff. In the chat box, FTL, Gooner, Craig, Marquinhos, Brace, Thursday. You heard it here first. Hope you guys are well. Thank you, Craig. Much appreciate the kind words and comment as always. And I mean, Mike, Marquinhos is your star man. You've though gone for Tomiyasu and Saliba to still come in for this game. You're just trying to keep him playing as many minutes as possible at this stage, right?
Absolutely. No, it goes with that sort of theme of strength, at least to start. There needed to be at least one, I think, from the leadership group, which is why Xhaka's there. And I did think about Cedric. I was tempted, and also Nelson, but both of those lack match fitness fairly significantly. So my thinking on that was if again we can sort of start strongly, get some goals on the board, then there's ample opportunity to bring both of those on to get them some minutes in and get match fit. And maybe even sort of then move Tommy to the middle, take Saliba off and bring Cedric on in that place was what I was potentially thinking. But Marquinhos, I just think is going to be fantastic. The way he crosses a ball is just exquisite. And we'll have some more of that, and Eddie will just love that sort of stuff. It's sort of made for him, really. Martinelli was reluctantly put in there simply because ESR isn't around. I'm not sure who could potentially. I'm not sure whether Nelson's played on that.
He has played on the left, but not heavily. He was mainly on the right, I think, for Feyenoord last season.
Yeah, so that was. But then again, maybe that's where Nelson comes on for a few minutes just to give us an option. While ESR is rehabilitating following his surgery, perhaps.
Yeah, potentially. Speaking of players that could potentially play on the other side, I mean, I've gone for Nketiah playing there with Jesus through the middle. You know, Arteta does like playing Nketiah in wide areas. He's brought him on as off the bench in wide areas. The reason why I've kept Jesus in is one, you know, I just don't see a problem really of using him. I mean, obviously go see him do his ACL on Thursday. Now I've said that, but I just don't really, for me, see too much of an issue, especially when he's only one yellow card away from suspension. He's going to miss a game at some point this month. I think he's going to get that yellow. So use him in these games, use him and have that opportunity to play him. I think, you know, the more goals he scores, the better, the more confident he's going to be. And I think the Europa League is an opportunity for him to get more goals as well. I went for the Cedric holding Tomiyasu Tierney back four like Sasha as well. There's a lot of talk in the chat box actually about Matt Turner, of course, who's not had the strongest of starts to his Arsenal career and does look like there are some, you know, areas that he needs to improve. I put that more down to his move than his ability. I put it more down to the pressure of making that switch to Arsenal from MLS, kind of highlighting potentially some nerves. I still think he's got quality. I don't think the club would go out and sign him and spend as much money as they did. I don't see it as a Runarsson 2.0 at all. That came off as a little bit of a naive suggestion, I think, from a goalkeeping coach when we were desperate for a backup keeper. I think the Turner situation is different. I think we have definitely scouted him significantly more and feel he's good enough. Otherwise, he wouldn't be, you know, the starting goalkeeper for the US men's national team, taking out Zach Steffen from the lineup as well. So I do have more confidence in him than potentially more than others do. And I hope that he has a really strong game. And if he is tested, that's a good thing because we need him to be ready in case anything obviously happens to Aaron Ramsdale. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Marquinhos offers. But most of all, Fabio Vieira getting another opportunity to play. I can't help but feel for the guy. You've got Martin Ødegaard of all people in front of you, and you just feel where on earth he's going to get minutes from. I think potentially there's an option to use him as a rotational figure with Xhaka if Ødegaard is to stay, and you can play Ødegaard and Vieira in the same team potentially with how far forward Xhaka gets. It does seem like that would suit a Vieira-style player anyway. So I think there's an option that could potentially be used there. But yeah, most of all, I'm excited to seeing him along with the likes of Marquinhos, as the boys have said. The final part of the shows, as always, is our predictions. So it's time to go to the boys for their predicted scorelines and scorers. And chat box, we're going to go through some of yours as well. Sasha, we start with you. Scoreline and scorers, please, friend.
It's going to be difficult to predict because we don't know what team is going to play. But let's say the team that I picked is playing. Then I'm going to go for 3-0, 2 goals from Ketia and 1 from Marquinhos.
Lovely stuff. Dan.
I can see a mistake happening at the back. Just one. No, like that one lapse of concentration because of the rotation. Well, if Gabriel starts, I hope it's not him, but there's always a chance because he's going to be trying to probably do too much. But I think 3-1. I'm going to say Vieira 1 and Marquinhos going to get a double.
Lovely stuff. Suleiman's going for a 4-1. Omar's going for a 3-0. ML Reaction going for a 5-2 to the Arsenal. Vlad says 2-0 Marquinhos and Jesus with the goals. Sam Trester, thank you so much for the donation. It's so easy to vote for TGT, the best club content creator. Don't believe me? Try it. Links, of course, to vote for us in the FCAs rather, are in the description. Tim is going for a 3-0 and Ian's going for a 2-1. Mike, scoreline and scorers, please.
I'm going to go for 4-0. And I think Marquinhos will get a couple. Eddie will get 1. And I'd like to see Vieira get another one.
That'd be great. From range, off the post, once again.
Absolutely.
Would be brilliant.
Absolutely.
We know he's capable of it. Peter Renner's going for a 2-1 Arsenal to get goals from Eddie and Gabby Martinelli. BX Gunner says Fabio, Marquinhos and Eddie to get a brace in the game. I wonder if that's all 3 of them getting braces and it's going to be 6-0. Rancid says Arsenal 3-1 Marquinhos and Eddie brace. Sartvik says Arsenal 3-0, 2 from Eddie and 1 rocket from Xhaka. He's due another one of those. V-Dub's going for a 2-0 win and Gooner Davis going for 3-0 and Ketia with Vieira getting 1 as well. I'm going to go for I'm going to be there, so it better be good. So 5-1 to the Arsenal on Thursday night. I would much appreciate Arsenal getting a good result in this game. Sam Ashbury says 4-0 Arsenal, Vieira double, Marquinhos and Martinelli. Byron says 2-0 to the Arsenal with Eddie and Smith Rowe to score. Amira's going for a 3-0 win with Nketiah brace, which seems to be a very popular choice amongst predictions this evening, with a Tomiyasu header. I think that would be his first goal for Arsenal as well, which would be nice to see a first goal for Tomiyasu at some point. Thank you, everybody that's tuned in to our preview show. Do make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And please do show my fantastic guests some love, not only in the live chat box, but of course, if you're watching this on catch-up, leave them some love in the comment section as well. Sasha, thank you so much for your time. Tell people where they can find you and what you're going to be up to, my friend.
You can find me on Twitter at SVW Sports, and you can also find me in Tom's Discord channel. That's where I'm up. And also, Tomiyasu's first goal for Arsenal is going to be a left-footed screamer from outside the box.
I love the prediction. You should put some money on that. You seem so confident with it.
If that bet ever comes up, just tell me. I'll put some money on it.
Lovely stuff. I'm pretty sure you could probably find it somewhere. Someone's putting that on. Dan, thank you for your time, mate. Tell people where they can find you and what you're going to be up to, mate.
Always heavy in the Discord. It's very active in there. It's wicked. But at the moment, still hiding on the whole social media. I've just set up a Twitter, but I ain't really using it too much at the moment. But when I'm there, don't worry, I'll be putting out Arsenal stuff.
Lovely stuff. Brilliant. And finally, Mike, fantastic debut, mate. You absolutely smashed it, and fair play for you jumping on. It takes a bit of confidence to do it. And, for those that are sitting in that Discord and going, oh, should I, shan't I? Well, you can see how easily both Dan and Mike have recently smashed their debuts, and Sasha's been doing this for a while now too. So thank you, Mike. Tell people if you would like to where they can find you and what you're going to be up to.
Find me on Discord, and if you're not there, why not? Get involved, guys. It's a fantastic place to be. Thank you, Tom, for the invite. So privileged to be here. And you guys take care, and I'll go and get some sleep.
Absolutely, yeah. Do go get some, mate. It's commitment to the max, turning up at 1 a.m. Over there to tune in, but we really appreciate it. As we appreciate both Dan and Sasha as well. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I will see you, of course, live tomorrow morning, bright and early, for me, not for Mike, at 8 a.m. for the next show. Do make sure you tune in for that. And as I said earlier on in the show, and as our very kind donator in Sam in the chat box pointed out, you can vote for us in the Football Content Awards. Just, I think, 5 more days of voting is available. You can vote on Instagram, on Twitter, on the website. If you've only done one of them, vote on the other 2. Make sure you voted across all platforms. It really does help us out. I will see you, as will the boys, very, very soon. And as always, up the Arsenal.